The easiest ones to find on here are A, C, and E. A, does it open up or down? It's a matter of looking at the A value. 2, if it's positive, then this one opens up. And then, is it a maximum or a minimum? If it opens up, that means the bottom of the graph, the U shape, is at the bottom. That means it's going to be a minimum for the vertex. And the Y-intercept is simply a matter of looking at the last number, -1. There should be 3 automatic answers on there. For the vertex, you have to first find the x value, which is -b over 2a. Remember that a is 2, b is 2, and c is -1. So that would be a -2 over 2 times 2. That's a -2 over 4, which is a -0.5. That's a terminating decimal. Therefore, you can use a decimal when you plug it back into the function. We will do that now. That should be f of -0.5 equal to 2 times the quantity squared of -0.5, close the quantity, plus 2 times a -0.5, and then -1. Remember in your calculator that you must perform this item here as a quantity squared. If you type in -0.5 in your calculator and hit squared, you will get a negative answer. It is wrong. You must multiply a negative times itself. That gives you a positive. So in your calculator, you would have to do left-hand parenthesis and then -0.5 right-hand parenthesis, square button, hit enter. You should get 0.25. And then multiply that by 2. You get 0.5. And then add to that the product of these two. So plus left-hand parenthesis 2 times a -0.5. Right-hand parenthesis, hit enter. -0.5 is what you get. And then you have to subtract 1. So your answer is a -1.5. And that's what goes up in here. Remember, you had -0.5, and then you also had -1.5. One last thing to find, and that would be the X-intercepts. Remember, the function is 2x squared plus 2x minus 1, and you can set that equal to 0. Use the quadratic function or the formula, which is -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. All of that over 2a. b is 2. And then a is 2. c is -1. a is 2. And we have to simplify that. So under the square root sign, you're going to come up with a 4. You have a minus times negative. That's a plus. 4 times 2 times 1 is 8. So you end up with a 12 under the square root sign. And you have to do this problem twice, once with a plus sign here, and then once with a negative sign here, or a minus sign. On the first one, you would have to do -2 plus the square root of 12 and then hit enter. Then divide by 4. Round the 2 places to get 0.37. And then on the second one, -2 minus the square root of 12. Hit enter and then divide by 4. You'll come back with a -1.37. So we'll fill those in up here at the top. We have 0.37 and -1.37. The 3 easy answers. This one opens up because A is positive. It is a minimum because A is positive. And the Y-intercept is 1, the item at the end. For the vertex, x equals negative b over 2a. That's negative 2 over 2 times 1. Double negative makes it positive, and 2 over 2 is simply 1. So we have 1 for the x value. And we will dump that 1 in to the function in place of x. So we have 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 1. And that is going to be 1 minus 2 plus 1, which is negative 1 plus 1. You come back with a 0. So the last thing to find is are the x-intercepts. You need to use x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 0. And the quadratic formula. So negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative, quantity squared of negative 2 squared, close the quantity, minus 4 times 1 times 1. So we come up with negative 2, or not negative 2, but positive 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 4, and all of that over, I didn't put the bottom on there, 2 times 1, so that would be 2. So 2 plus or minus the square root of 0 over 2. And we come up with 2 plus or minus 0 over 2, which is just, whether you add 2 or subtract 2, you still just have 2. So you end up with simply a 1 on this one. So we'll come back up here and fill that in. Simply a 1.